Hi and welcome to our program. Today we are visiting the exhibition Transformations here at the Museum Uge14, a collaboration between the museum and the architecture school of Aarhus. Let's check it out.
We started off with this kind of idea, which is a grid model, grid structure, and we tried to look at how do we sort of place Elephant Man in this. We also tried to work with the you could say the dynamic asymmetry. So maybe it can have two positions, right?
Okay.
And then we moved on to a model 1 to 5, which is here, and I guess this is a amazing possibility to build something 1 to 5, then draw it, and then actually see it 1 to 1. And it's a very good way of thinking and moving forward, understanding the scale and so on. And we one thing is that this is as the chair is standing right now. But then we also worked with the dynamic asymmetry. So the points here, they are on the same line, on a diagonal line in relation to the asymmetry, and well, I hope that I can I can show it, but it's almost in balance. So if I just push down, then it almost falls down, and
was that the point, or
yeah, that was the idea. Maybe I can now I reinstall the exhibition. I'm sorry, but it can be basically placed down in that position.
Ah, okay.
And this is also like how do you perceive Elephant Man? How do you perceive John Merrick? It's maybe something strange because he's not normal, and yeah, what is to be normal, right? But then you maybe wonder, you think it's something strange, and then once it's sort of raised and activated, then you understand that it's this chair for him. Yes. Now I'll put it back in light.
Is there any particular reason why it's cut like this? Or?
Yes. So the
and it's there also.
Yeah, it's also there, and it's also there's a cut here. For all the projects in class, we were working with these 22 millimeter square sticks, wooden sticks in oak, and then there where the body meets the furniture, there we can introduce something new, and we chosen to introduce just these wood plates, and then we tried to work with a certain rhythm with them, so that they also relate to the stick. So the width here is 3 times the stick, I think, and then we kind of tried to split it. I'm not sure about the rhythm there, but maybe like at least we tried to do so. And there's also these, when you ask about these, we just try to split the plate, so you don't necessarily perceive it as one big, but maybe your eye imagines that it's perhaps split in two, but it's not, and then yeah. And also like here, it's 2 plates, but it has the pin distance, so maybe it's seen as one. I don't know, but that's what we.
And why did you decide to do that? Like, why do you want for people to feel like there's a separation here? Is there also a reason, or?
yeah.
aesthetics?
I guess it's to work with the rhythm in it. Yeah. It's also a very. We were given this joint, which is this orthogonal joint of 3 sticks meeting in one place.
So you had to use that?
That was at least a recommendation.
Okay.
And yeah, we went with that joint. I can also see. We can also see later, like how did the other groups work with it, but that was kind of the idea. And I guess that once you start doing something like this, then should it be? It's also a relation. Is it placed on, or is it placed in, or in between? So and that's also like here it's placed on, right? And then we attach it with this. Here it's placed in between. Here it's placed inside. Maybe we did it. That's three different ways of work with these plates. Maybe we just should have done 2. I don't know, but yeah, you can try to sit in it if you like.
I'm a bit scared of this falling. Is there going to be some type of, I don't know, protection during the exhibition? Because I'm sure that this will fall. So it's like supposed to be like this?
Yeah.
Okay. You can actually eat here.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a bit weird.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice.
But you can maybe feel that, like the right side is getting a bit.
Yeah, because it's slightly up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes me a bit uncomfortable. Like not. Yeah, like this arm is kind of tense.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Because it's slightly up. Cool.
Yeah. So that's
okay.
That was that.
I'm really scared of. Okay.
Yeah, and then we were 2 groups having the same character. So the other group was also having the Elephant Man, and this is their expression of the chair. Or actually, it's very nice the way they call the assignment in Danish. Maybe it's a bit stupid to directly translate it, but it's like the supporter of the body.
Okay.
So in that sense, we try to forget the concept of a chair as we know, like 4 legs and something to support, something to sit, and maybe something for your back. Like that notion of a chair, we try to go away from that, and then try to think of, okay, how do we support the body, and the body can have many different positions, and it's also yeah, I guess it's kind of radical if you have to forget about that, because we are also like we know that when you sit then or you lay down, but then there are maybe many positions in between, and I guess that this one is like ours was very much about sitting in, but then this one is perhaps more 3-dimensional. So also in the space, it's quite nice that you can walk around it, and you can experience it. You can try to understand from which side should I actually sit, because it has maybe it has a certain notion of a chair, but it's not there. It's like it's introducing a different way of sitting, right?
It kind of invites you to go this direction, but this is slightly up.
That's stopping you.
Yeah, and I'm like, this way, but then it doesn't have the. Maybe like this. Can I sit this also?
Yeah.
Maybe like this.
Yeah.
Are these do these red things have some specific reason, or it's just more?
Yeah,
this is really low.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't exactly know why they've done the red like that.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
But what I know how they worked with this technique is that you can also see that it's not a very strict way of doing it.
Yeah.
They also try to do this meander kind of movement. They were testing different kind of techniques. How do you work with this material? And this is also working with the orthogonal joints, having the same material, but then introducing a new material and a new technique there where you sit. And it's very interesting to sort of to look. Okay, they actually went in and tried to introduce a whole new method of working, which is very fascinating. And then also the notion of how do you perceive it, and then as well the asymmetry. So you can see that the sticks are sticking out in one direction. They are higher some places, lower. There's it's not symmetrical at all, but then you still have this almost a square. So it's very interesting to discuss. Yeah, and also how, just as you tried, right? You looked from one side and then you go in and you almost entering the chair, and then you were sitting. So yeah.
Does the character have like physical pain or something? Can he not rest properly or something?
Yes.
That's why it's like the body supporter, the supporter for the body.
Yeah. Well, in this case, he has pain, but I guess it is a supporter of the body. Yeah, it's for all of the characters. It's just to sort of forget this notion of a furniture, right?
I thought it was more related to
the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
But what he had this issue of he couldn't sleep in the horizontal way. He had to always sleep in a strange way where his head is leaning on his knees, so that he because his head was too big.
So he's kind of seated down?
Yeah, so he kind of seated down and then his head was on the knees. And that, I think, I don't know, maybe they worked with that in the starting point as well. I think we were also trying to express that in the chair. But then we moved further and did what the result is now.
And what did you have in mind while you were thinking of representing that part, like he could not really sleep and the weird position that he slept?
Yeah, there we thought of, okay, how do we create a position where he can be in that uncomfortable position, actually being supported, so that he feels in certain way comfortable, but perhaps also just expressing that that's the way he sleeps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And this also has a house, right?
Yes. So they also have done a house for the Elephant Man, which is the model is here. So that's their model 1-33, and in a way, I wish that there would be a plan drawing, but it is curving, and as the house curves, it also has an elevation, and then it also has a certain hierarchy. Okay. So as I remember, you enter here, and you come directly in his most welcoming zone. So that's where he eats. That's where he meets guests, and it's the social part. Okay. And then moving through further, I think they made a plateau so that you can Maybe, I don't know. Oh, can we lift it? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, great. So there you can see the step up into the more private part, where they worked with the concept of preparing to meet the guests in that area, and then moving up again to his bedroom. And this, I guess, this house expresses the sort of transition between being in the exposed area, going inside, and then moving up to the more private area. So it's not a direct way of just going in and out, but maybe there's something in between. And I guess that the movement in between and going up, that's how they make it more private in this case. So he kind of he feels the privacy up here, and then he can also observe those that come inside, and then he can meet them in a front way, so he's not surprised. Yeah, we also try to work with that because Elephant Man is he's in need of feeling protected, perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about this? Is this another entrance? Or?
I think they made it as a window.
Ah, okay.
So that when you're sitting here, you can look out. And then they were working with this silhouette way of perceiving the body, in a way very epic. So he stands up here.
Ah.
It's also like, since it's a film character and it's abstract, we also had the possibility to set a scene, to really think of some screenshots of, like, okay, how is the house in this position, and how does that relate to the film? How does what if he stands exactly here, and how is the light, and how do the guests perceive him? That's not a usual way of working with a house, like. But in this sense, they imagine that he's standing there. The light is coming from behind, so so it's mostly the silhouette of the body, and then he walks down the stairs. It's also a very ritual way of meeting the guests, I suppose.
And I'm also curious, like, why are the windows so up? Do you know something
yes,
about
I
that?
think. Well, yeah, a plan would be good, but but they placed it at the edge of the terrace, so that right here there was a wall.
Ah,
So it's
okay.
it's to get the light in, but not the view. And then the house is also relating to the terrace in a way that it has a tension.
Okay.
It's not just placed in the middle. Yeah, I think this is perhaps the terrace, this square. So you can see that it's at the edge of the terrace, and then there's a wall here.
Okay.
So you kind of have to go around to go in. Yeah. So now I will
Put it back together.
assemble the model again.
Yeah.
Oops. Yes. And then they were also working with different heights of the wall. So here it relates to the wall. Here it's going down so that you come in and the space opens.
Okay.
And so on. And as you move up, you're moving up, but the roof is, I suppose, falling a little bit down. So you're coming from this open space to a smaller space. Yes. So
more
there's also
privacy, like.
exactly. So there's more privacy. There's more tension in the room, and yeah. So that was
Okay.
the other Elephant Man.
And then
Yeah.
there's a second character that
Yes.
you also want to tell us
Yes,
about.
that was Annie, and you could say a side character, Paul, from the movie Misery. I suppose it's very difficult character because she was so closely related to another character, who was Paul, this writer, and not only that those groups that worked with Misery as a film, that they had to focus on Annie, but also that they had to work with Paul as a part of her or her being in a way. And then in which extent do they include Paul in the house, or do they exclude him? And then if they do so, why, and how is the house just for her? So it's also, I guess it's a very difficult character in that sense, also psychologically, because as we talk now about Elephant Man, he has, of course, you can perceive him psychologically, but also the body is something rare, whereas Annie is it's almost too normal. Like the house she lives in, it's this American classic house on the countryside, and it's almost too. There's something in it. It's like, can it be so, right? And then.
What do you mean by there's something in it?
Yeah, like it's like. I guess that's also why it is here at Overtouchy Museum, that all these characters, they have a certain psychological or psyche, and how are they perceived? And Annie is a character that from the outside perhaps it's, you could say, normal, right? But then you come in and you meet her, and then all of a sudden this complete craziness appears. So in this case. They actually included Paul in the house.
Okay.
So it's both her house and also his, but it's not his house. He is almost like imprisoned, and that's also what happens in movie, that she's taking care of him, and he is he's not at all feeling home, you could say.
Okay.
So I think they made a room just for him, where he is in a wheelchair and he cannot get out. It's glued, but I think they made the step so that he's imprisoned.
Yeah, I was going to ask if he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's just mean.
Yeah, it's very
some
mean.
chairs and some stairs there.
Yeah, and. I suppose we can look in it. It's a very compact way of moving through the house, moving up, and that's where he's placed. I think he is placed here. Yes. So that he cannot get out, and then these almost working as a prison cell. But they were very much working with the concept of enclosing space and these volumes interfering, cutting into one another, where as the points of meeting there are some openings for the light to come in. Plus they are working with the openings for the light to come vertically down. And also having these horizontal windows. So I guess it's you have the vertical light and then the horizontal view. So and then somehow, well, here it's in an angle, but then otherwise it's in that way. Then maybe one can see like these different volumes. Oops, I almost broke the model. Then these volumes, they interfere, so they cut into each other, and that's how the volume is made.
Yeah. Any particular reason also for this part?
I think
that goes around only on this side of the house, kind of.
Yeah. I think I think this is hitting the wall. That's where that's where it's not. But then I think these wooden panels creating the facade.
Okay.
It's also here That's where the vertical and the horizontal meets each other, and the one volume interferes with the other volume.
Okay.
And yeah.
And is this like an open space, or?
Yeah, I suppose this is I think they thought of a class or to have it.
Okay.
Maybe it's yeah.
And the entrance is in that direction?
Yeah, the entrance is here. So I think they it's relating to the terrace as well, just as the other project. And you kind of come in, and then there are these functions on the first floor or the ground floor, and then you go up where he is imprisoned.
Yeah.
In a way.
Actually, how can you go here? Like,
I think you first go up,
this?
and then there's an opening.
Ah, okay. And this is a room?
Yeah, and then here, this volume has an opening there, so you can go in. Yeah, and then he cannot get out because it's a step up, so he is completely enclosed.
That is mean.
Yeah.
That was it for this program, but stay tuned for the next one. In the meantime, don't forget to check our Facebook page, BURT, for updates on schedules and programs. See you soon.